Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to what is going to be a brand new series here on FIFA 19. In the past, I have done, started series on FIFA where I've done it with different clubs and tried to get into it. But in the 15 years that I've supported my team, I've never done them as a series. I've done so many Liverpool careers over the last 15 years in FIFA. Ever since I became a fan in 2004, starting from FIFA 2004, moving onwards, I've always done Liverpool careers, and I've done loads on this FIFA. But I decided I want to do one more, and this time I want to share it with you guys. And along the way, I'm going to be relaying a lot of my knowledge that I've amassed over the last 15 years. If you ask any of my mates, they know that I know a lot about Liverpool. I know a lot about football in general. I know I have great knowledge about that, but Liverpool, I am a master at. Well, I like to think so, at least. But anyway, we are going to be starting this. So how is it going to work? Well, basically, I want to try and have an episode for you guys to watch every day. And how the episodes are going to be structured are every episode is going to include 2 games, except for the start in the episode, which is the one you're watching right now, which is not going to have any gameplay at all. What it's going to be is me setting up the career as I'm doing now, getting up to the first game of the season, which is at home to West Ham United in the Premier League. So anyway, let's quickly run through how we're going to do this. Obviously, we're going to have it world class. We're going to have it 4 minutes. We are going to be in the Champions League, which we are the current champions. We won it at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium in Madrid against Tottenham 2-0. But anyway, I do need to go and edit groups, because unfortunately Red Star Belgrade, who we played in Group C this year, they aren't on FIFA. But have no fear, I do have a alternative on FIFA that I have found in the rest of the world, and that is Slavia Prague, because they indeed have a red star on their badge like Red Star Belgrade. So it's a nice alternative, but it is going to be a tough group. We only just snuck through in real life, 9 points from a possible 18, winning all our home games but losing all our away games. And it was like, we only just snuck through against Napoli 1-0 on match day 6, but the rest is history. Knocking out Bayern Munich in the first knockout round, knocking out Porto in the quarterfinals, and coming back from 3-0 down to beat Barcelona 4-3 on aggregate at Anfield to reach another Champions League final, second consecutive Champions League final, but this time coming out notorious, winning 2-0 against Spurs. Goals from Mohamed Salah from the penalty and Divock Origi after the 80-minute mark, so this is just a small example of how much I know about the club. There is also one thing I am going to change as well to the settings, and I am going to be turning off transfer window in the first summer. So that means that no club will be signing any players, so we are going to be using their teams that they had at the start of the season up until January. Then once January opens, there will be a transfer window and I can start to buy and sell players. But I love using the actual Liverpool players, so I'm going to continue to do that. But as you can see right now, it says Ellis set to take Liverpool by storm. Obviously, it does mean that I am taking over from the very popular Jurgen Klopp, who I absolutely adore. He's probably my favourite Liverpool manager since I've been a fan for the last 15 years. I do like Benitez. He won a Champions League with us like Klopp did. He won an FA Cup as well. But with Jurgen, you can't fail not to love the man, because he's so charismatic, and I want to try and emulate that through this series. If you do go on to enjoy this series, be sure to hit that like rating. It shows me that you are going to be showing support for this series, and hopefully along the way you learn a thing or two about how much I love this football club. In fact, I'm going to be going to Liverpool mid-August, going around Anfield, and I will be lifting the Champions League trophy, which is going to be very good. I'm going to just call it Liverpool FC. Normally I call it like Liverpool Football Club, but you know what, I don't really want to be wasting your guys' time in typing a long thing. I do have the option now to do a pre-season tournament, but I normally decline. I don't see really the point of them. I did at the start of the game just to learn the game before the actual season started, but we are going to get into it. So now we're here, we are going to be running up to the first game of the season. And then start next episode, we're going to be doing 2 games an episode, maybe 3 if you're lucky. There might be a few episodes where I think, you know what, I just want to keep on playing, but minimum 2 games per episode, and it's going to be uncut footage. I'm not going to be making highlights of the games. I'm not going to be cutting through all boring stuff. I want you to see it as a raw material, which is what I think is the way I like to do it. So obviously we see there Liverpool seal £56 million deal for Alisson, who has been absolute fabulous in his first season at Anfield this season. And then obviously we brought in Fabinho, and we obviously had the long-awaited arrival of Naby Keita. All players that I'm excited to use. I've used a lot of on this FIFA, but I can't wait to use them again effectively. But anyway, let's have a look through the inbox first of all. So let's have a look through our targets. So let's go to youth development. So they want us to bring in a youth player, grow him by 5 overall points, and play him within 5 games of the season, either starting lineup or coming off the bench. I'm not going to do that. I don't really care about it. We've got some youngsters where I can't wait to integrate them into the team, like the likes of Ben Woodburn. Obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold is a big name in the club already. There's obviously Ryan Brewster, who has done very well in pre-season, despite the fact that we can't seem to win in pre-season in real life. But let's gloss over that. Hopefully we can do better in the competitive games this season. Let's not talk about that. Financial, within 2 seasons, increase the club worth of your club by 15%. That should be easy, because I'm going to win everything. Our aim is to win every trophy possible to us. Domestic success, they want us to win the Premier League title this season, and also win the Emirates FA Cup. Again, like I said, I want to win everything, so that shouldn't be too difficult. And it also says reach the final in Champions League. Well, in real life we did reach the final in Champions League, and we won it for the 6th time. So hopefully I can emulate that and do it, live those memories all again in my lifetime, or in my fan tenure. I've seen Liverpool win 2 Champions Leagues. Not many fans can say they've seen their team win 2 Champions Leagues. That is very good. Obviously there's Liverpool fans who have seen us win all 6, but okay. Anyway, so that is the things. I don't need to look at any others. I'm not too interested about what scouts say, because we're not going to be buying or selling anyone in this window. So the next thing I do want to do is go into the squad hub, and you're thinking, why that? I'm not going to be listing anyone, I'm not going to be selling anyone. But there is one thing I want to do, and I want to bring back Nathaniel Klein from loan. I am allowed to actually do that, even though there's no transfer window. He's number 2, that's good. Is there anyone else that is out on loan that I want to bring back? Grujic is out on loan. Ajaria is out on loan, not too fussed about that. Harry Wilson on loan to Derby, obviously had a very good season, reaching the playoff finals, but unfortunately missing out promotion with Derby. Shaya Ojo, Danny Ings out on loan to Southampton. That's fine. Ryan Kent on loan to Rangers, obviously managed by Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard, so that's going to be interesting. But I am going to be looking at financial, see if anyone's got any release clauses, because that's something I want to look at. So Ox does, so we are going to have to offer him a new contract in order to get rid of that release clause, because even though no one can officially buy him now and trigger that release clause, in January they will be able to. So I want to say rotation. Okay, rotation does work, because he's only 80 rated, but Ox is definitely going to be a player I'm going to use. Unfortunately, for most of the season that actually just happened, he was injured for it, because he picked up in the semi-finals against Roma over a year ago. I'm going to give him 2 more K, because 2 more K seems to work quite nicely. So 85k for the Ox, and he is happy to take that. Obviously no release clause now, so that is obviously good. You can't see that on the right hand side now. Anyone else got a release clause? Hopefully no one else. Okay, no one else. That's brilliant. So the next thing that we are going to do now, obviously just deleting the email saying that Nathaniel Klein has returned off loan. You're probably thinking, well, he was out on loan on Bournemouth, so you should do it. He actually went out on loan in January to Bournemouth, so effectively for the first half of the season he was a Liverpool player. I think he had a few injuries and he only played like a couple of games, but I think for obviously this series I will be needing a backup right back at some point. So the next thing that I want to do is sort out the starting lineup, or like the main starting lineup because then I can tweak it before games. But let's look at who I want as my main starters. So obviously we want Salah on the right, we want Firmino up top, and we want Mane on the left. Sadio Mane, my favourite current Liverpool player, and I think that front three is just going to be electric every time we've used them. But they've been superb. We are going to have. Ooh, this is a problem because I really love Naby Keita on this game, and I love Wijnaldum, and I love Fabinho. I think I'm going to start with Henderson at CDM and Fabinho off the bench. I'll tell you why, because if you remember the start of the season just gone, Fabinho took Klopp took his time bringing Fabinho in because obviously he had to adapt to the Premier League, the more physical league, and obviously second half season Fabinho has been one of our best players. So I'm going to do that. So we've got Mignolet as our backup keeper. Let me just check the back line. I'm actually going to have Joe Gomez as centre back. Obviously we've got Virgil van Dijk, the man mountain, and the Ballon d'Or favourite right now to win. We've got the best attacking fullbacks in the league. Our team is amazing, let's just say that, but I do think in real life we need a couple more players. We need a new attacking option to replace Daniel Sturridge, I think. Maybe a winger, and ideally a fullback, because at the moment we let Moreno go. He's now joined Villarreal, and Nathaniel Klein has picked up a cruciate ligament injury, so he's going to miss quite a lot of the season as it is. So we've only got two fullbacks. But for this series we'll be fine because we've still got Moreno and we've brought back Klein from loan, so it's all good. So bench, we have Matip there, got Milner and Ox, and then Shaqiri, and then we're going to have Divock Origi as our backup striker. Or am I? Or am I going to actually... Oh, they've already had Sturridge leave. That's interesting. I did not know that. So let's look at our backups. We've actually got some good backups that I do intend to use, like Adam Lallana. Ben Woodburn I'm going to be using quite a lot because he turns into a very good player and I'm a big fan of his. Ryan Brewster, another player that I am going to be using. So if anything, it's kind of good. Obviously I'd like to have Daniel still here. I'd like to use Sturridge for like this season and then let him leave, but if anything it frees up space to actually use Brewster more, which is going to be pretty good, so I can't really argue with that. So let's go on to custom tactics right now. What I like to use is pressure on every touch, and I like to have these settings. I want this on possession. I like to have it quite ordered like that. Custom tactics, oh actually no, not that one. I want Mane and Salah to get in behind. I want Firmino to stay forward. I want Henderson to stay back while attacking. And I kind of want... No, you know what? I'll have them Wijnaldum on balance. So he can come back and he can go push forward. Because in real life, he did score, obviously, 2 goals against Barcelona. He also scored away at Cardiff, away at Tottenham, at home to Bournemouth with that beautiful chip. I think he scored another goal that season. Last season, so it's definitely he's gonna be a good player in our team. So we've got Henderson as the captain. That is fine, lifting the European Cup. Obviously there's going to be a lot of football fans that will not like the sight of John Henderson lifting the Champions League trophy, but for me he is a great leader, he is a great player, he gives absolutely everything to club and country, so you can't really mock him. On free kicks, we've got Trent, is probably our best taker. We've got Salah on penalties. He did take quite a lot this season for us. And Trent on corners. I'm actually going to put Salah as the corner taker from the right side, so it's whipping it in. So it's an in-swinger to the goal, and then obviously Trent on the left-hand side, again, in-swinging on his right foot. But I think that is fine. The problem is, when I save that, it doesn't technically save like it should. Because if you look at now, it shows Mane up front, it shows Firmino on the left wing, it shows Henderson left centre mid. I believe that is. So all I have to do is just save again, and then it's now sorted. Normally what I like to do is make a second team sheet of like the reserve team. So it would have Origi up top, it would have maybe Ox and Shaqiri on the wing, it would have Milner, Lallana and maybe Woodburn, Or no, Fabinho even instead of Woodburn. Backup centre backs would be Lovren and Matip. We've got Moreno and Klein as the backups, and then obviously Mignolet in goal. But I think it's just better if I just change them depending on the game, if I need to make changes or whatnot, which is good. Next thing I want to do is go into the training. So we are blessed to have quite a few youngsters in the team where we can actually get them a lot better. So Ryan Brewster, being the age of 18, he will be looked after. Same with Ben Woodburn, one of my favourite young talents at the football club, so he's going to be doing that. We are also going to be having Joe Gomez at the age of 21, is just another good player to have. We're also going to have another defender in Trent Alexander-Arnold at the age of 19. He is going to be worked on. Who is the last one that I like to use? Has someone else left the club? Who do I normally use? Because it used to be Dominic Solanke when he was here. Has someone else left? Or do I just put it on Alisson? Or Origi, to be fair. Origi might be a good option. Still quite young at the age of 23. Keita. Why do I feel like we're missing someone? I don't know. We're going to put it on Origi, I think, because Alisson's already sick. Get Origi up because he has turned into, obviously, a hero. He's gone down as a Liverpool legend for winning us the Champions League. So we're going to just simulate through them. Obviously, 4 of them had very good, but Divock, it was a bit of a letdown. If I go now into training presets, I'm going to call this youth. I'm trying to think who was the last player that I like to normally put on it. I just can't think. Who was it? I don't know. I've forgotten. It wasn't Sturridge, and he's the only one that's left. I don't know who it was. It's not important. It's not important. So anyway, what we have to realistically do now, because we're not doing any transfers and there's not going to be any transfers around the league to really highlight, all we need to do now is advance to the first game of the season, which is at home to West Ham United. It's puzzling me. It was never Origi that I did. It used to be Solanke. Yeah, at the start of this FIFA it would have been Solanke, but I've done Liverpool careers since, and I just don't know who I put as that 5th one. I must have put it as like 2 for Woodburn or 2 for Brewster or something. I want to think I did something like that, but it doesn't matter. Divock Origi is a good player to have there. I want to improve him and see how good he actually can get. Okay, so his long shots has gone up to now 70. But yeah, this is what I'm doing, just like every week when I'm available to do more training, that is what I'm doing, and we're going to get up to the first game of the season. But that actually isn't going to be the last thing that I do before we end the episode, because I do actually like to do a couple of things. So Joe Gomez has gone up to a 79 rated, and Ryan Brewster has gone to a 63 rated player, which is very nice. I could also add a few transfer targets for January, but I think I'm just going to do that nearer the time. Keep it a bit of a surprise what sort of players I like to look at. But anyway, Trent has now gone up to an 81 rated. It'll be interesting to see what rating these players are going to be in FIFA 20, because obviously Liverpool have signed a deal with EA after previously having like a contract with Konami with PES. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of rating Liverpool players will be now we've got proper licensing with them. And obviously the fact that we are the Champions League holders, so there should be some good ratings in there. Okay, so then I've got a message about I don't. But anyway, the last thing that we are going to do before we wrap up this introductory episode is we are going to be editing a few players up, because I like to tweak their looks a bit. So with someone like Woodburn here, I think like just making a tighter shirt, like higher socks, it just looks better. I really love that Ben Woodburn, even though he's still an unproven talent. I really do love the fact that he obviously has his face in the game. I think Wijnaldum should be quite fine. Yeah, Wijnaldum looks fine like that. Van Dijk obviously always wears like skins. Yeah, that's our future captain. That's our Colossus at the back, and he will prove to be a Colossus. I am sure of that. Shaqiri, everyone knows that Shaqiri loves like a tight shirt. And hopefully he can make an impact, maybe in central midfield like he's been playing in real life, or out on a wing. It doesn't really matter to me. Salah, I don't think there'll be any need for him. You know, I'll give him long socks. Why not? You know, why not? Didn't mean to go on City. That's one team I do not want to be talking about. We've got Robertson's fine. Firmino should be fine if he's got long. Okay, give him long socks as well. So one thing while I am sorting out this, and if you guys are still watching this, I want you to leave comments down below of predictions for this upcoming season here on my channel. What trophies am I going to win? Who's going to be man of the not man of the match? Who's going to be top goal scorer? Who is so much you can vote on. Do I give? No, you know what? Origi is actually going to stay with short sleeve shirt. So he used to have long sleeve, but yeah, so many predictions. Like who's going to have top assists? How many clean sheets is Alisson going to get? There's so much that you guys can give your opinion on of making some good predictions. Personally, I think it is likely that Salah will be top goal scorer. I think top assister might be Firmino. But yeah, you can guess how many goals everyone's going to get, to be honest. Gotta remember, this is on world class, so even though we should be winning most games, it's not a given. Plus, might not be big wins. Who knows? But yeah, there's so much that you guys can make guesses for how many points we're going to end up on, things like that. Right, Mane should be good. You know what? I'm actually going to put him in his original boots for the start of the season, which are New Balances, and they were these ones. Also, he's got a tight shirt, and I don't like that. My favourite player, Sadio Mane. Normally does very well for me on FIFA. Right, are we near the bottom? Okay, we're at Mane, so Lovren next. All the teams I expect to be using, I kind of just I like to just tweak a bit so they look so more presentable. So hopefully we can carry on in that vein. So Adam Lallana. You know what, Lallana's fine. I do want to use Lallana quite a bit because obviously he's he's at an age now where he needs to just be playing football. Keita's more than fine, long socks, that's fine. I believe next one is Hendo. Give him a tighter shirt, higher socks. I do actually believe, I think in the trailer to announce that EA and Liverpool are now partners, I think Henderson's face has been redone, so it's a lot more, it looks a lot more like him, which is good, which is very good. Kleiny, so unfortunate, but he's picked up an injury in pre-season, but it is what it is. Young Ryan Brewster, you know what, normal shirt, actually you're fine then. Then we've got Alisson, who I'll give long socks to, don't know why. And then we've got Trent. I think Trent's the final one. Yeah. I just want to give you high socks. That is it. So yeah, that is the first episode complete. We have sorted everyone out. We've sorted out the lineup. We've sorted out training that's going to happen this season. So next episode, we will be starting the season, well, with the first couple of games. So that'll be at home to West Ham and away to Crystal Palace. And yeah, I hope you guys will join me. So guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, be sure to smash that like rating. And then for more Liverpool career mode series, and I have started a new series on F1 2019 called Life of Lando, which follows the career path from Formula 2 to Formula 1 of Lando Norris. I've started a series on that, so go and check that out if you are into motorsport, if you're into McLaren, if you're into Formula 1, then go and check that out, you'll love it. But until next time, guys, goodbye.